TNT round number 3 coming to you from Worldwide Technology Raceway, formerly known as Gateway Motorsports Park. I'm Rick James, here to bring you 150 laps of uninterrupted green flag action. We're about to get rolling live on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and iRock TV Media. We're about to throw the green flag with Aiden Norman and Seth Wansing on the front row, waiting for the signal. Bama Trama, Doug Norris, everybody in the house is ready. Let's go racing. Already a jumble coming out of that second corner. Dustin Painter sliding way up the racetrack, losing all sorts of momentum, and the 00 Napa Auto Parts machine. Now on the outside of Jeremy Brio, down the front straight. Look who's jostling, weaving back there. Richie Catania, Tristan Catania, nose to tail after the first lap. The 3 of Cody Riggs now joins the fray, slides right up the racetrack ahead of Jeff No. He's trying his hardest not to cause anybody any damage. Briley Wright already got into it. The 29 Rhesus machine has spun around, and one of those Bluegrass Bandits up against it. Up at the front, Seth Wansing leading Aiden Norman, Thomas Andrews in that third position, Tom Sears in fourth, Ryan Pennell in position number 5. Number 12, Ryan Pennell, the native of East St. Louis. Coming out of turn number 2, single file, they go 8 cars deep. Jason Alexander in the blue 5-6 behind Jeremy Brio. Despite going up the track in the first turn, Dustin Painter now runs purple, 34.97 for the North Carolinian. He's put that Ryan Truex Napa machine up to 6th. Jeremy Brio, the car behind him, just beats him, the Pennsylvanian. Purple, not quite blue like the Pepsi machine that he's driving. Ryan Pennell now trying to hold off Dustin Painter. Meanwhile at the front, Seth Wansing tries to stay ahead of Aiden Norman, but the big-ass 6'2" now behind that number 9 Simware machine out of 4. Drag race, or will it be? Wansing trying to hold off Norman, who's taking all the time to get up behind the 9, trying to see what he can get up to. Up the inside, side by side, Season 4 champion Thomas Andrews in the MGD machine. Now watching them single file down the back straight. How about Jason Alexander holding his own, the native of Salem, South Carolina. 1.5 seconds ahead of Tristan Catania, the younger of 2 Catania brothers. How about Richie? Rocking the Hot Hues paint scheme. The number 24 sits ahead of Cody Riggs, one of those Bluegrass Bandits. He looks back to Jeff No. This is the battle for 11th. Cody Riggs, car number 3 into turn number 3. 2-4-3-5-5. It goes 10, 11, and 12. Out of that fourth corner, a lot of guys in practice describing turn number 4 like a dirt track. They say these cars get wicked loose. And that they do. At the front, Seth Wansing still holding off North Carolina's Aiden Norman. They open 1.6 seconds, sitting 3rd and 4th, 3 Thursday Night Thunder titles. Thomas Andrews in the 2 MGD machine has 1 championship. Tom Sears in the 1-4 has 2 titles, and behind them, Talladega winner, Season 5, Ryan Pennell, rocking that Bill Elliott paint scheme with a 1-2 on the side. Cody Riggs trying to give a little bit of hassle to Jeff No in the double 5. Richie in the 2-4 goes green. 35-13, a personal best. Richie Catania running a part-time-ish schedule last season. Now comes in, he's got just a whiff of a draft coming up to younger brother Tristan. 0.6 the difference out of turn number 4. We saw the 4.8 get really tail happy in practice. We'll see if he can keep it together. So far, no cautions. If you've just tuned in, I'm Rick James. You're watching the 3rd round of the 6th season of Thursday Night Thunder. Seth Wansing leads the way. And if you're watching on Twitch, make sure you enter !TNT03 for your chance to win that Daniel Suarez diecast. Check it out on Rick James Twitter and Thursday Night Thunder Twitter. !TNT03. Don't miss out your chance to win that awesome 99 diecast. Bama Trama's in it. Doug Norris is in it. Stout Whiskey, who's racing in this race. He puts in a big yeet yeet in the chat. He's excited as well. Looking at that battle for the 8th position. Dustin Painter on the inside. Jason Alexander just clears it. And the South Carolinian is up 3 places into 7th. Aiden Norman will not let go. He puts his big-ass 6'2" on the left side of the number 9 into turn number 1. Aiden Norman trying to hold on to that low line. Seth Wansing trying to run away with it. Seeing what kind of run he can get down the back. Side by side for the lead into 3. Could be the first lead change of the race. Wansing on the outside. Norman on the inside. Norman has the advantage. Is Seth gonna give him the crossover out of turn number 4? Aiden Norman in the Big Ass Fans 62, your new leader under the shadow of the St. Louis Arch. 12 laps underway. At the front, Norman continues to lead. There you've got Withers now to the inside. He gives it a big shake out of 4. And when he looks to get to the inside of Cody Riggs, the number 3 has some damage on the right front. Looks like that fender might be towed in just a bit. It could be the paint scheme. I could be dead wrong. Yeah, no, that fender's definitely towed in. Cody Riggs made contact with somebody. He's holding on to the 12th position while the Catanias battle again and again. Richie in the 2-4, looking back at younger brother Tristan in the 48. That Hot Hughes Monte Carlo SS just ahead of the Ally Camaro. John Honeybrink and Briley Wright battling it out for the very last position. The Bluegrass Bandit in the 2-9 gets to the inside of John Honeybrink in the 2-0. Rio on the outside of Painter, further on up. Check out Ryan Pinnell, who's now behind the 1-4 of Tom Sears into turn 3. There goes Briley Wright. He just got around Honeybrink. And this is coming out of turn 2. My fault. Ryan Pinnell now trying to get a draft off of Tom Sears. Sears trying to get to the outside of Andrews, but really it looks like some guys might just be playing it a little bit careful. They've got to take care of the tires. Richie Catania in the 2-4, holding off Tristan, but at what cost? Further on back, here comes Tom Sears to the inside of Tom Andrews into one, but can he make it stick? 1-4 in that Dayglow Supra, trying to get to the inside of the MGD machine. Season 4 champion, and he got that title with only one victory. How about the defending champion? Aiden Norman in the 6-2. He comes into this race 5th in points. Not where he wanted to be by any stretch of the imagination, but he is definitely on the way back. 6-2, 9 behind him. Seth Watson with arguably the best start to his season in recent memory, the number 9. Midwest Barbecue 213 Simware car trying to catch back up. Watson with a lot to play for coming into this race. Seth doesn't find himself anywhere near the top 5. Matter of fact, he's 19th in the point standings. 24 drivers have run in Thursday Night Thunder so far this year, but plenty of races to go. Tom Sears has had enough waiting. Looking to the inside, Thomas Andrews now has to defend coming out of turn number 2. Sears looking up the inside. Is Andrews going to defend? But he's not going to have to. Andrews doesn't have to defend. Pinnell to the top side. Sears on the inside now. And these guys fighting it out for the 5th spot. The native of East St. Louis on the outside in the 1-2. Tom Sears on the inside in the 1-4. Dustin Painter now creeping up behind him, and Painter with the advantage down the back. Single file, 3, 4, 5, now 6. Jeremy Brio, 3/4 of a second off of these two. Aiden Norman opens it up to the biggest lead of the race so far, the 6-2, 1 second ahead of Seth Wansing. Wansing on the chase, but is he just conserving the tires? The Drip Diecast and Collectibles track facts reminding you it's going to be between 30 and 40 laps for these drivers. How true is that figure? Last week we saw Juan Jimenez run out of gas, crossing the finish line to get that victory. Jimenez not here tonight, so he will not complete his hat trick. We will have a new winner for the first time this season. Jeff Noe, he picked up a win last year at Richmond. North Carolina's Jeff Noe trying to get around Florida's Richie Catania down the back straight. Catania looks like he might have had some extracurricular attention to the right front corner as well. The double 5 Charger goes to the inside of the Jeff Gordon Chevrolet. Tight battle for 10th. Battle for the podium. Thomas Andrews just ahead of Ryan Pinnell. They won't make contact out of turn number 2, but it sure is close. Pinnell to the inside. Dustin Painter now trying to drag race him for the spot, despite a tire strategy afoot. The drivers are not holding back. Oh, you can see some more contact on the outside of Catania's machine. That 2-4 with a big scrape on the right-hand side. Have a look. JK3 still fighting. Jimmy Kerr now behind Tommy Withers. Down the back straight. Withers in 13th. Kerr in 14th. Andrews finds some breathing room, but it's not going to last long. Let's go on board with North Carolinian Dustin Painter. The 00 will attempt to overtake the 2. Single file down the back. Aiden Norman has lost his lead. Half a second and closing. Seth Wansing is looking to get closer. 26 laps about to be completed, but have a close look. There is a huge scrape on the right side of Aiden Norman's machine. He's made hard contact with the wall. Norman could be in trouble. Wansing smells blood. Out of turn number 2, 27 laps underway under the shadow of the arch in St. Louis. Technically, the racetrack is in Illinois, Madison, Illinois, just over the border. It's been open since the mid-'80s, I think. And NASCAR didn't actually come here until the late 90s. In 1997, I believe IndyCar and the NASCAR Busch Series came here to christen what was then Gateway Motorsports Park, now WWT Raceway. Aiden Norman and Seth Wansing will go to battle once again just outside that pit window. Pennell to the inside, chasing down Dustin Painter. Thomas Andrews almost offering a bump draft down the back straight. It goes for nothing. 1-2 to the inside of the 2. Tom Sears now behind them both. 4 cars within 6/10 of each other, but how long will they keep playing hard like this while the tires continue to wear? Jeremy Brio's not done because Jason Alexander is going to give him some work to do. The South Carolinian closing in bit by bit. The 74 Pepsi Taco Bell machine watching that blue Camaro get bigger and bigger in the mirror, headed into turn number 3. Thomas Andrews watching Ryan Pennell sail away, the native of St. Louis, up to 4th. He's 3/10 away from the podium. Dustin Painter in the 00. Does he conserve? Does he play with Pennell? Both of these drivers tied for 7th in points. Have a look. Only 2 races into the season. No mistakes can be made. Norman opens it back up again. 7/10 the distance now. Seth Wansing trying to catch up. Jason Alexander has caught Brio out of turn number 4. The 7-4 tries to hold off the 5-6. While that McDonald's Ford gets bigger and bigger. And that big yellow M starts to fill the entirety of Dustin Painter's mirrors. Now it's time to find out what the 00 is made of. North Carolina will go to battle up against, well, I was just about to say the state of Illinois, but it's not because Ryan's from St. Louis. So that's Missouri, isn't it? I don't know my geography very well. But that's not the point. These two fighting it out for 3rd, while Jason Alexander starts to make Jeremy Brio sweat just a little bit. And at the front, Aiden Norman looks like he's trying to hang out the tail on that big-ass car. The 6-2 Dodge gives it a little bit of a tail slide out of 2. Meanwhile, Seth Wansing keeps his Midwest Barbecue Monte Carlo in line. The 6-2 Mellow Yellow machine. 6/10 the distance. They've kept the status quo. Let's take a look at the distance over the last 5 laps. Seth Wansing, that last time around, 1/10 off the pace. And that's what it looks like 1, 2, and 3. These drivers have to be careful. They cannot let the tires get the best of them. Seth's starting to blink down the back straight now. 0.8 of a second, the difference. Meanwhile, Ryan Pannell has caught up to Painter. 0.2 is all that separates them. Painter gets a little tail happy out of 4. Here comes Ryan Pannell, the 1-2 Ford Taurus on the 00 Auto Parts Camry. We are inside that pit window. Jeremy Brio now has Jason Alexander on his outside while Thomas Andrews starts to creep further into view. These two have got to be careful with each other. No cautions so far. .36 laps about to be completed. Thomas Andrews, Jeremy Brio running 6th and 7th. South Carolinian Jason Alexander wants to bring his Camaro into the fray, looking to get to the inside of that 7-4 single file. Will they benefit from each other's draft? Alexander says no. Brio moves to the inside, trying to throw some sort of defense, and he's opened up the door to the inside of Thomas Andrews. Will the two give way? Brio's going to take the way. 7-4 up the inside. Will he hold on to that low line? What will Jason Alexander have to say? The 2 of Thomas Andrews, he's got some contact. How about that? He's taken a big hit on the outside, and that's definitely affecting performance. He's waiting for a caution or for that pit window to open. 37 laps underway from Gateway 38. Brio with a big slide out the corner. Jason Alexander to the inside of Thomas Andrews. Alexander trying to sneak into 7th. Cody Riggs, Briley Wright, 2 Bluegrass Bandits, 2 great friends, but they always seem to make contact with each other one way or the other. Briley Wright, the Reese's Cookies machine. Cody Riggs, the unmarked number 3, watching Jimmy Kerr run away with 12, while Tristan Catania slots in behind Tommy Withers, the Virginian, holding on to the back end of the top 10. 6th, 7th, and 8th, a little bit spread out. Half a second from the 7-4 to the 5-6, while Thomas Andrews gives it a big slide, and he saves it. He saves it. How about that? Watch the hands inside Thomas Andrews. You can see he's losing big control of that race car. How about that for a Ken Block tribute from Thomas Andrews? He keeps that number 2 moving in the right direction. He's in 8th. He's losing time, but he hasn't wrecked it. And that slide could have been a lot worse. Jeremy Brio now still dealing with Jason Alexander, who's trying to sweat him a little bit on some worn tires. Let's see how long he gets. Alexander gives him no time at all. Alexander, he's going to chill out for a second behind the 7-4. Give him a little space, but the 5-6 moves to the inside. He gives that 7-4 no rest at all. He wants him to feel the pressure. He wants him to sweat. Meanwhile, Riley Wright in the 2-9, coming up behind Jimmy Kerr in the 7-5. Over the last 5 laps, well, that's the last sector. Let's actually just go to laps. There it is, from 36 all the way to lap 40. JK3 sitting in 11th, Riley Wright in 12th. Alexander, he's lost his patience. He hasn't put the chrome horn to the 7-4 yet, but time will tell. 43 laps underway, and these drivers well exceeding the drip, diecast, and collectibles pit window. We'll see just how far they last. They do get 3 tire changes here today, and of course, as always, 1 fast repair. 187 miles, the scheduled distance. Tristan Catania on his way out. Green flag pit stops now underway at Gateway. The 48 is on cold tires. He's got to keep it in one piece. Catania gives it just a little bit of a wiggle. Let's see if he can hold it together on these cold tires while he gets him up to temp. Race leader Aiden Norman looking to put him a second lap down. Leaders coming in as Cody Riggs battles with Richie Catania. Aiden Norman's on his way in. Seth Wansing's on his way in. Dustin Painter will stay out, and the North Carolinian will be your new leader. Painter to the top. Ryan Pennell in second, and Massachusetts' Tom Sears gets into third. Norman's in. Wansing's in. They both come to a halt. Is there strategy? Let's see who comes out ahead. Norman's out. Wansing's gone. How long was that pit? 0.2 of a second between them, but Seth Wansing spending 1.25 seconds longer on pit road. Aiden Norman attacking the pit lane, and the delta will show. Let's take a look at the sectors here. There it is. Aiden Norman over that first sector, 1.1 seconds quicker, and then an additional 0.2 immediately out of pit road. Norman with a 3-second gap to Seth Wansing, and there's the difference. Norman quicker still. Seth Wansing has to get out of pit road and on the gas better than that, while Dustin Painter's come in, your new leader, Tom Sears in the 14. The Massachusetts pilot stays out, as does all of the top 6. Jason Alexander to the second position. Jeff No comfortably in third. Tom Sears, he's got a 5-second advantage over Jason Alexander. And now Jeff No is on his way in. The North Carolinian decides now is his time. Cody Riggs also on his way through. Aiden Norman looking to gain some positions. There's race leader Tom Sears. 5 seconds behind him is Jason Alexander. Sears is in. Will the South Carolinian follow suit? He will indeed. That's going to be the last of the holdouts. Tom Sears and Jason Alexander coming in on lap 49. So you would expect them to take it all the way to lap 100. That's 6 laps longer than Aiden Norman has been sitting. And it could make a difference if these stints get compounded. Quick math would tell you that Tom Sears and Jason Alexander would need to extend these tires by another 10 laps. If they want to go all the way to the end on 2 stops, they're going to need some help from the caution, certainly. 2.8 seconds, the gap between them. Take a look at the difference over the last 5 laps. .9 now the gap. The battle for 5th gets hot. Jeremy Brio tries to cool it down by holding off Ryan Pennell. But Pennell has been on a roll at the start of this season. Looking at those points, you see where Ryan sits. He's tied in the 7th position with Dustin Painter, and it's a great start for the Missouri pilot. Big fan of the St. Louis Cardinals, big fan of the St. Louis Blues as well. Ryan from St. Louis and trying to rep for his home city. Dustin Painter, he goes green, 34.81. Richie Catania just went green, 34.85. His personal best of the race. Tristan Catania, Richie's younger brother, now to the inside of Tommy Withers. They fight it out for 10th. JB in the Pepsi 74 finds a little more room to race, but Ryan Pennell takes it right back as it's the Massachusetts pilot Tom Sears who now goes green, 35.08 seconds. Sitting in 6th, watching these two burn up more of that precious Goodyear rubber, while at the front, the big-ass fans, 6'2", Aiden Norman, 2.9 seconds ahead of Seth Wansing. There is the Kansas City native. The Chevy Monte Carlo following closely but not really pushing the envelope. One driver who is pushing it, Ryan Pennell in the 1-2. Let's ride on board. Tom Sears has found just a little bit of room to run. The 1-4 now gets behind Ryan Pennell. Into turn 3 he runs. Pennell's got to get a move on because Sears may not be as patient. He wants his spot back in the top 5. Ryan Pennell now on defense. Tom Sears looks left. Pennell looks up ahead. Jeremy Brio in that 74 holding on to 4th. He's up 5 places from where he started. Single file down the back straight, running parallel to the highway behind him. I think that's Interstate 55. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Certainly don't know. Pennell to the inside of the 74. Jeremy Brio, can he hold him off out of 4? 7-4 with a big shake out of the corner. Tom Sears now smells blood. A dead heat down the back straight. Meanwhile, the battle for 12th has Jeff No, Tristan Catania, and Jimmy Kerr all within 3/10 of each other. Jeff No rocking the double 5 and the race leader in the distance. Three seconds the gap at the front. These three still fighting it out, and so are these three. Tommy Withers might now be involved. He's trying to hold off Jeff No, the number 6 U.S. Army Camry, holding off the TJ's Team Dodge down the back straight. No contact between them. They get closer and closer. Well, now they're spread out down the back straight. Tommy Withers trying to clear the double 5, and he does. Withers still in 10th. While these two hammer and tongs. The 7-4 of Jeremy Brio calmly just floats off that fourth corner. Tom Sears giving Jeremy plenty of room. The two-time TNT champion in the 1-4, 2-1-3 Simware machine has the advantage down that back straight. Ryan Pennell in the 1-2, just watching from a safe distance. Sears, half a second, back to the 7-4, and 6/10 back to the 12. So far, everybody has kind of found their own niche, spreading out and trying to chill out for the rest of this stint. But the 7-5 of JK3 does not give it a rest. The 6 of Tommy Withers, the Army Camry, holding off the HBR Chevy. Seth Wansing in a world of his own. 3 seconds up front to Aiden Norman. Dustin Painter, 8 seconds off that pace, but still in third, 6 seconds and more ahead of Tom Sears. There goes Kerr and Withers side by side again, battling it out for the top 10. Withers will hold him off out of the corner. Jimmy Kerr getting just a bit too squirrely out of the corner. The shiny 7-5 following behind the number 6. There's the race leader, Aiden Norman. From one charger to another, is Jeff No going to give him a little bit of slack? Norman's going to try and scoot his big-ass car through that third corner. Jeff No makes way in the double 5. The 6-2 of Aiden Norman does indeed squeeze his big-ass car out of turn number 4, and that 6-2 Dodge rages on from the front. 3 seconds ahead of Seth Wansing now, with the 7-5 of Jimmy Kerr just ahead in that distance. Briley Wright, he's in the top 10. Once again, the first laps weren't kind to that Bluegrass Bandit, but the 2-9 Reese's Cookies Chevrolet following behind the Season 4 champion, Tom Andrews. 4/10, 3/10, 2/10 will be the gap into turn 1. These two going at it with the tires finally getting somewhere. We're about 20 laps into this second run. Riley Wright trying to find some room, trying to get that sweet ride up that inside line. and Tom Sears is just going to have to crack a cold one and focus, see if he can get around that Reese's Cookies Monte Carlo. 65 laps now underway. Still going hard in the paint. Look at the tail hang out on the 2.9. He is trying everything to hold on to it. One of those Bluegrass Bandits, the other being Cody Riggs, who finds himself in 15th right now, 4 seconds ahead of John Honeybrink, running in the 16th position. JK3, does he have what it takes to hold off Withers? He just got into 10th. With the leader behind him, maybe now's the right time to pick up the pace. Tommy Withers doesn't want to go one lap down, but he will be the lucky dog if the caution comes out. 2/10 the gap between Withers and Kerr, 10th and 11th respectively. Big shake from the 6th. Tommy Withers tries to find clean air and possibly stave off that draft from Aiden Norman. There's Withers in the 6. He's watching Kerr just slide away. Richie Catania watching his brother Tristan really lose the plot coming out of turn number 4, and a great save by the 48. Have another look at that. This is actually some laps ago here. Tristan already looked way out of sorts, and that was just a culmination of him losing control of the race car. The 48 now sitting in 14th. Battle rages on. Race leader looking on. Aiden Norman in the 6-2 Dodge behind the 6 of Tommy Withers. Obviously not for position. Withers fighting to stay on the lead lap. Jimmy Kerr in the 7-5. Down that back straight has Withers in tow. You can see just how cockeyed these cars are running down that back straight. Speaking of cockeyed, the Bluegrass Bandits, Cody Riggs with that cockeyed toe on the number 3 down the back straight. He's got to get that toe fixed. It took a little bit of damage earlier in this race. His Kentucky partner in crime, if you will, Riley Wright, in that 2.9 sits in 8th. He's up 6 places from where he started. Right now, he's the race's hardest charger. He's gained more spots than anybody. Just past halfway. Tommy Withers still on the lead lap for now. Aiden Norman with enough scrapes on the right side. Maybe he's trying to conserve a little bit of tires because Seth Wansing has started to catch up. This is what the gap has been over the last 5 laps. Seth Wansing quicker for 4 out of the last 5 laps. And how about Dustin Painter? He might be 7 seconds off the pace from that Missouri pilot. But Painter sitting in 3rd, equidistant from 2nd and from 4th, 7 seconds ahead to 2nd. Well, now 8 seconds back to 4th. That's where Tom Sears lives, with Jeremy Brio starting to catch him up. Two seconds the gap. Aiden Norman now sweating, or is he calm in the cockpit? Seth Wansing has reeled in that fish. 2 seconds is the gap. Remember, these drivers last pitting on lap 44. Quick maths will tell you They should be able to go to lap 88 when the tires need another change. Norman definitely taking it easy. If you've just tuned in, you haven't missed a thing. Caution free in the first 74 laps of racing, and it's this man, Aiden Norman, in the 6-2 Dodge. He sits 2 seconds ahead of Seth Wansing. They started side by side on the front row. Matter of fact, the top 3 in the running order started 1, 2, and 3, respectively. Dustin Painter, 6.9 seconds back, while these two go at it again. Seth Wansing in the 9 to the inside of Jeff No, who gives way. Wansing with a blink. His internet needs to hold up, and it looks like he might have caught a piece of the wall. He did indeed catch a piece of the wall. Look at the scrape on the right-hand side here. Can Tommy Withers hold on any longer? The 6 all over the place, while the 6-2 tries to find a way around, and the 6-2 gets into the wall. Aiden Norman might have just gone from slow to a little bit worse. You saw sparks come off the 6-2. He tried to go to the outside of Withers, and he mistimed it, but now is the right time for car 6-2 to get inside of the 6, and the leader is loose out of turn number 4. Aiden Norman saves it once again, but it's starting to look a little bit shaky. Richie Catania getting closer to Jeff No. These two battling it out for 12th, while Ryan Pennell starts to see Jason Alexander fill his mirror. Closer still. Richie catching up to the back of the double 5. Jeff No now being reeled in, and Richie says, come on back. Trying to get him for that 12th position. There's Richie. He's trying to hold on to it himself. Come on back now, Richie. That 2-4. Trying to get back into fighting contention, and Jeff No lives to fight another lap. Meanwhile, Jason Alexander wants a piece of 6th place Ryan Pennell, and there goes the South Carolinian. Four-tenths and counting. Ryan Pennell has the draft out of turn number 2. The Missouri pilot falling just a little bit behind. Jason Alexander just has the juice. Meanwhile, Richie hasn't lost sight of that double 5. Jeff No starting to lose ground to the hot Hugh Chevy. At the front, it's now inside 1.5 seconds. Aiden Norman can see Seth Wansing starting to catch up, and the 62 Dodge has no more buffer between him and Seth Wansing. You just saw the 6-2 give it an unhealthy shakeout of 4. Richie on the outside of Jeff No, and he's finally got his move. Catania, after laps of waiting, he gets into 12th. Thomas Andrews in that 2. He's gotten around Jimmy Kerr. 2/10 the gap now as Andrews gets into 9th and Kerr is left in 10th. Jimmy Kerr to the inside while Aiden Norman gets even closer, but Seth Wansing now starting to catch him up. They're inside 1 second just before the pit window. Norman with worn tires and a little bit of damage on his car. Wansing knows that and he doesn't need to rush it. But last time around, Seth Wansing with a terrible pit exit and out lap. Aiden Norman opened up a 3+ second lead immediately after leaving pit road. We'll see where they land this time. Thomas Andrews in that too, just following the 7.5 of Richie Catania. Cody Riggs now behind Tristan Catania, and Cody hasn't given up the fight ever. Cody wants to get into that top 14. How about Cody? Now all over the back end of the 48. They're going to take it to the high side while Tom Sears in 4th takes it 3 wide up the inside. They still go at it. Never mind that pesky 14. The 3 and the 48 will continue to do battle. Into turn number 3, Cody Riggs gets into 14th. Tristan Catania on the outside with a damaged Ally Chevrolet will slip back into 15th place. Cody Riggs now pulling away. Thomas Andrews to the outside of Jimmy Kerr while the race lead is under contention. Aiden Norman has Seth Wansing within half a second just before the pit window. Green flag pit stops just a few laps away. Aiden Norman with a damaged race car. Does he have what it takes to hold on? Seth Wansing leading plenty of laps at the beginning of this race. Will he be patient? Will he let Norman get himself into a mistake? And just how far will they both go on these extremely worn tires? Norman continues to shake and wiggle off the corner while Andrews and Kerr do battle just ahead. Thomas Andrews in the 2 on the outside. Jimmy Kerr in the 7.5. While Aiden Norman has no more breathing room, they snake down the back straight. Seth Wansing opens up a line down on the inside. The Midwest Barbecue Chevy tries to move the 6.2 Dodge up the hill. Drag racing. Norman has lost the grip. He gives it a big tail slide out of turn number 4. Seth Wansing wins the drag race to the line. 88 laps underway. Norman top side, wiggling, shaking, hoping and praying that he can hold on to this race car. Will they make contact? No. Wansing snakes down to the inside. They say loses fast, but how fast can you be when you can't even hold on to the car? Norman says, I've had enough. The 6.2 on his way in for tires and fuel. Comes across the line at 47 miles an hour. Seth Wansing, your new undisputed leader under the arch. WWT belongs to him for now, but how long will it last? Norman is in. Catania is in. Painters in second. 5.5 seconds off the race leader, who decides now is the right time to come in. Seth Wansing, tires and fuel is what awaits the number 9. Out of turn number 4, he's got to get it woed down, Seth. Don't get that penalty. 46 miles an hour and a blink on his way down pit road. Dustin Painter leads a lap. He's your new leader under the arch. 60 laps to go next time by. Norman out of pit road. 6-2. Now behind the 6 of Tommy Withers. He gives it a little bit of gas. He tries to get closer. Withers opens up the bottom line. Norman now has plenty of grip, and he flies past the number 6. Aiden Norman finds himself in 10th on the way out of pit road. There goes Wansing, who's just been overtaken. Now Seth has to put his foot on the gas because this is the race for the lead. 6-2 down the back. There goes car number 9. 60 to go. There's no way they can make it all the way to the end. They're going to have to use that last pit stop. Riley Wright is in the 2-9 Reese's Cookie Chevrolet. In 11th, Norman goes purple. 34.68 seconds. Can you believe it? Aiden Norman, unbelievably quick that time around, and he's really got his foot now in that gas pedal. Aiden Norman, 2.5 seconds ahead of Seth Wansing. Race leader Dustin Painter is in, and now Tom Sears takes over spot number 1, the 1-4 Supra. New leader under the arch. Brio in the 7-2, Alexander in the 5-6, 1-2-3 inside the final 60 laps. Just waiting for everyone's next move. Aiden Norman is up to 5th. He's gotten around JK3, who has not pitted. There, Seth Wansing appears behind the 7-5. Wansing on fresh tires gets into 6th. 3 seconds, the gap. Aiden Norman in the 6-2 has to think about the tires this time around, because if this trend continues, Wansing will overtake him before the checkered flag. So really, we've got to see who's going to be the bravest on these fresh tires. Tom Sears staying out. Jason Alexander staying out. They last pitted on lap 49, so we can expect them to come around lap 98 if the tires hold on that long. There's Jaco, 7 seconds off the pace from Tom Sears. Let's go on board with the Massachusetts pilot. He has a commanding lead at WWT. You heard Tom Sears killing the engine into the corners, saving every drop of fuel he can. There is the pit stop strategy and the stint length for each of these drivers. We'll see if Tom Sears surpasses that first stint length of 49 laps. Aiden Norman went the same 44 laps. Ryan Pennell stretched his stint time by 4 laps. And he's into the 3rd position after Aiden Norman's overtaken him. Sears continues to stay out and make the most of this. Have another listen. See if he keeps killing the engine into 1. Sears playing the long game. He knows Norman has the speed, but he also knows Norman does not have the upper hand on pit strategy. Sears going to make the most of what he's got. 8 1/2 seconds back to defending champion Aiden Norman. That's what the strategy looks like. That's the time delta between Aiden Norman and Tom Sears over the last 5 laps. 7.8 seconds. Now the difference. Tom Sears entering lap 100. This is now his longest stint of the race. The Massachusetts pilot. Gambling on this, going green. Monkey in the chat puts in new record emoji. Welcome, Monkey. Welcome, everybody who's tuned in. The 14 is in. Tom Sears coming down pit road. He cannot mess this up. He's got the upper hand on strategy, but he must stay mistake-free. Brings it in at 45 miles an hour. Aiden Norman, once again, your race leader with 49 laps to go, but Aiden Norman pitted on lap 88. He would be looking to go 48, no, more than that. I think, I have no idea. Someone do the math, but Aiden Norman last pitted on lap 88. He's looking to go to lap 150 if there are no cautions. Fans at home, don't forget, enter exclamation point TNT03 for your chance to win that Daniel Suarez diecast. You can see it on Rick James TV and Thursday Night Thunder Twitter. Christian winning our giveaway last week. He is ineligible to win this week. Doug Norris is in the battle for that. So is Mama Vols. Anybody else that puts in exclamation point TNT03 has that chance to win. Seth Wansing in the 9. 2.3 seconds behind Aiden Norman. Wansing possibly knows the same thing that Norman does. They cannot make it. Tom Sears, however, just went to lap 100 and proved he can go more than 50 laps on tires and fuel, and if the race stays green to the end, you can do the math from there. Tom Sears has the upper hand strategy-wise. If a caution comes out, it is all for nothing. He's going to have to reinvent his strategy once again, but the two-time Thursday Night Thunder champion has been around the block once or twice. I think he knows what he's doing. 45 laps remain. Well, nope, 47. I can't math. Cody Riggs behind Tristan Catania. These two fighting it out for 14. JK3 now ahead of Tommy Withers. These two 10th and 11th respectively. Kerr in the 7.5 doesn't give up. Neither does Withers in the 6. Your Season 5 Daytona winner, Tommy Withers, with an incredible last lap win. It was Season 4 or Season 5, I don't remember, but we need to pull that footage back up because Tommy Withers slides across the line to win at Daytona in sensational fashion. Tom Sears goes green, 35.02, his fastest lap of the race. He's got more to give. You just know he does. Aiden Norman has been loose all night, but he now watches his lead shrink. 1.45 seconds back to Seth Wansing. Aiden Norman looking to go 62 laps on one tank of fuel, and the tires could not handle more than 48 laps of wear for Norman on that last stint. The math just does not work out in his favor. He's hoping for a yellow, as is Seth Wansing. Dustin Painter and Jeremy Brio are a bit closer, but right now the magic number is 50. Tom Sears, if we open up these stints one more time, take a look at the pit strategy here. There are the top 10. Tom Sears in 5th. He went 51 laps on that last stint. He'll have to go 51 laps to go all the way to the end on 2 stops. If it stays green, we've been caution-free for 107 laps. And you bet Tom Sears looks to stay the same. Aiden Norman leading this race, but only by 9/10. Here comes Seth Wansing in the 9. He's started to catch up. Let's ride along with that 9. Seth Wansing now within a half second. Cody Riggs fighting for 14th with Tristan Catania. Good to see these two still fighting despite the fact that they're outside the top 13, but no worries. They do love to give some good competition, and Cody Riggs might have found a line on the inside of Tristan Catania. We'll see how these two duke it out. 40 laps to go this time by Norman, Wansing. These two have been fighting all night long, and they'll continue to do so, knowing that it's a losing battle on the strategy end, but anything is possible. We're only 111 laps into this one out of the scheduled 150. Cody Riggs gets right up to the back bumper of Tristan Catania, tries to put the crossover up the inside. Tristan can't hold him off. Riggs loose out of 2, and that's going to give Tristan just enough to edge ahead, headed into 3. Norman has no more time. Wansing has caught him up. They're going to drag race down the front straight, possibly down the back. Norman has to hold off Wansing. Will Wansing sit and wait? Will he move to the left? No, he will not wait at all. He's going to fake left, go right, open up the corner to the high side, and watch for the crossover out of 4. Aiden Norman can do nothing but watch. He'll slow the car down, upset the balance, and the big-ass 62 hangs the backside out of turn number 4. Here comes Wansing trying to get to the left-hand side of that Dodge, and you'll have to wait for another chance. Wansing looking to the left once again. Does he have the run? Does he have the air? Does he have the speed, the grip, the cool to stay on that inside? Aiden Norman in the 6-2. He's got to hold tough and stay true. Hangs out the backside more than he wants. He drifts it again and again, and those rear tires burn up just a little bit longer. Seth Wansing leads the lap. Wansing pushing Norman up the racetrack, trying to upset the 6-2 even more, and the drag race down the back straight goes on. Wansing by half a car length. You see the difference in braking, the difference in strategy. The 62 just shoots ahead. Wansing in the 9 has the advantage out of turn number 4. Norman continues to slide and drift the 6-2 like he doesn't have to worry about tires, and it could be his Achilles heel. But how about Seth Wansing using his tires to fight for this race lead, knowing that it's going to take one more pit stop for him to get to the end. It's uncertain for all 16 drivers but one. This man here, Tom Sears, in the 1-4. If it goes caution-free, keep your eyes on that Dayglow 14. He might come on back to victory lane for the first time in a long time. We've got just under 35 laps to go. Sears on the outside of Jeremy Brio fighting for position, but does Tom need to press the issue, or does he need to sit and wait? Brio waiting for a move from the 14 with a 14 jump. Will he sit? Will he chill? The Race Arc Supra tries to find some clean air. Brio continues to hold off the double champion. At the front, Seth Wansing opens up 7/10 to Aiden Norman. Tom Sears behind Brio. Let's ride along with the driver of the 14. That's the sound of one car colliding with the wall up ahead. Take a look for smoke, any sort of marks. Tom Sears gets around Jeremy Brio. Jeff No possibly making contact with that outside wall. Have a look at the double 5. No scrapes on the right-hand side of that double 5. He seems to be all right, while Tom Sears pulls away from Jeremy Brio despite the tires only being 6 laps younger. Tom Sears with everything to play for. Seth Wansing trying to get away from Aiden Norman as quick as he can, and who can blame it? 1.9 the gap headed into turn 1. Wansing will open the lead past 2 seconds, and Aiden Norman starts to wonder what could have been. 30 laps to go this time by. We've been caution-free for 120 laps. Here comes Aiden Norman. He's had enough. It's going to be less than 40 laps for Norman. Pitted on lap 88. This time he's going to come down on lap 120. A 32-lap stint for the defending champion. Dustin Painter's also in. Seth Wansing now wondering what to do. Tom Sears sitting in 4th. It's his race to lose if it goes green all the way. Wansing is in. Seth Wansing will come down pit road. There's Tom Sears now starting his 120th lap. Wansing's in the grass. Race leader makes a mistake on his final pit stop of the night. This could cost him a podium. It could cost him more. What will the points say? He comes into pit road under that speed limit, but Seth Wansing nearly throwing the race away in turn 3, coming in hot. And the number 9 now chills. Tom Sears out of turn number 4 will be your race leader this time by 29 laps to go. We got to go back some seasons to find out when's the last time Tom Sears won a Thursday Night Thunder race. But the 14, Arcs Racing Supra, up 5 places from where he started. He's 27 laps away from victory. Coming into this race, the Swag Designs points shows Tom Sears tied for 3rd. He shares the bronze medal spot with Jeff No right now. Jeff No running in 13th. So the North Carolinian no is going to take a hit. Jeremy Brio just 1 point ahead of Tom Sears. Brio currently running in the second position. Aiden Norman has gone purple. 34.63 on the clock. And the Dobson native lights the lamp indigo with his lap time. What will it mean with just over 25 laps to go? Norman trying to undercut Seth Wansing, who pit the lap after him. And now there's no telling who's going to pit and when and what will come of it. Jeremy Brio last pitted on lap 94. He's going to try and stretch it all the way to the end. He's going to be looking for 56 laps on these tires. "26 laps now remaining. Tom Sears leading JB. It's a New England 1-2, Massachusetts ahead of Pennsylvania, and then from the Palmetto State, Jason Alexander in third. Aiden Norman just made it into fourth, and he is on that chase. He short pit so he could run the fastest laps possible, 8.3 seconds between Aiden Norman and race leader Tom Sears. Norman making light work of Jason Alexander, and the big-ass 6'2" has his work cut out for him. 8 seconds between Norman and Sears. Norman saw this strategy coming, and Sears now has to step on it. He's got to be conservative because he has no choice but to go the distance on these tires. 7.5 seconds, now the gap. Aiden Norman hunting down Tom Sears. Norman gaining more than 1 second a lap, and at this rate, Sears is cooked if he can't hold off Norman. Look at the rate that Aiden Norman's just starting to close him in. 6.6, 6.5. Jeremy Brio 1.5 seconds slower than Aiden Norman last time around. 6 seconds now the gap between Sears and Norman. .577. Fastest lap of the race. Aiden Norman holds on to that purple lap. 5.5 seconds the gap between him and Tom Sears. What was a brilliant pit strategy that would guarantee the victory has been undercut by the defending champion. 3 championships in the top 5. Sears leading this race, leading the championship count with 2. Aiden Norman says he wants another ring. He's coming up behind Jeremy Brio. 2.3 the gap. 2.5 and counting to the leader. 22 laps to go. Tom Sears counting his time at the front. Seth Wansing, who's stuck behind Aiden Norman all race long, finds himself 6.5 seconds behind. Riley Wright in the 2.9, trying to stay in fourth. He's up 10 places from where he started. .3 seconds now the gap. What's gone on with Aiden Norman? Possibly stuck behind John Honeybrink for a bit. Norman moving at the speed of light, relatively speaking, obviously, and just absolutely giving it everything. He's now about to overtake Jeremy Brio for the second position, and he will make extremely easy work of the 7-4. Brio tries for a crossover, but he doesn't have the speed. 2.6 now the gap, and nothing absolutely nothing but air between Tom Sears and defending champion Aiden Norman. 20 to go, 19 at the line. Tommy Withers goes green, 35.04 seconds, and the Virginian puts in his personal best. So now what? Tom Sears knows that his time is numbered. He's got just a couple laps remaining left at the front. But as the old adage goes for Aiden Norman, it's one thing to catch, and it's another thing to pass. You hear just that dead air on Tom Sears' car. He's cutting the engine, trying to save all the fuel possible. Headed into the corner, Aiden Norman's within 1 second to the two-time champion. Norman lining him up. 17 to go this time by. 20 laps of wear is the difference between their tires last time around. Aiden Norman 35.48, Tom Sears 36.25. Sears is going to make Norman try the high side, but he's got to block him. He's got to stave off all those advances. Norman to the inside, and Sears can do nothing about it. And there it is. Aiden Norman, new leader with 16 laps to go. Cody Riggs still climbing up the ladder, although it looks like he just got high, uncomfortable, and Tommy Withers now trying to knock him out of the top 11 positions. Season 4 champion Thomas Andrews gets into the top 10. Withers will follow Andrews and slide into 11th. Briley Wright, he pitted on lap 131, so he's got super fresh tires. 32 laps older than Jeff Noe, who's 6 seconds ahead. Tom Sears in second, Jeremy Brio in third. Seth Wansing, 4.5 seconds behind Tom Sears. Last time around, Seth on the clock, 35.52 seconds. Tom Sears, 35.02. So Aiden Norman really just undercutting the strategy perfectly, and it's Norman's race to lose now, and the shoe is on the other foot. It's Tom Sears hoping for a yellow flag, hoping for any sort of break in the action. 14 laps to go, not a single yellow to speak of all night long, and it's Aiden Norman's race to lose. Jeremy Brio is in. He has had enough. Brio gambling on a late race caution now. If a yellow comes out, Brio won't have to pit. Tom Sears will. Tommy Withers in 10th, Thomas Andrews in 9th, 0.8 of a second between them. Up ahead, Ryan Pennell, he's in 5th. He last pitted on lap 99. Ryan will try and go the distance himself. How about North Carolina's Dustin Painter? 4th in this race so far. Was overtaken by Seth Wansing, and he's now on the outside of Jeremy Brio. There's Dustin Painter behind Seth Wansing now. These two pitted 1 lap apart, and over the last 5 laps, Seth Wansing has just been slightly quicker than Dustin Painter. That's going to affect how they run here and the remainder of this race. Brio back up the inside. There's Tom Sears. He's got Seth Wansing right behind him. 11 laps to go. Seth Wansing still holding on to this third position behind Tom Sears. And there's the move. Wansing now moves to the inside, trying to get that silver medal spot away from Tom Sears, and he will. At the front, it's Aiden Norman in the 6-2 Dodge, giving it a little bit of a shake out of turn number 4. Seth Wansing now pulling away from Tom Sears. And the top two back to what we're used to seeing. Aiden Norman, though, 4.8 seconds ahead of Seth Wansing. Last time around, Aiden spending 1.5 seconds less on pit road than Seth Wansing, despite their pit stops being 0.4 of a second apart. 3 seconds the difference between Tom Sears and this man here, Dustin Painter. The North Carolinian will look to get on that podium. Painter comes into this race tied for 7th in the points with Ryan Pennell, who's in the spot behind him. Jeff No, 1 second off the pace of Briley Wright, but Briley's just going to walk away with this one. 32 laps, the difference between Briley's tires and Jeff's tires. 6 seconds from Briley Wright to Jeremy Brio, who pitted on lap 136. Seth Wansing, 5.5 seconds behind Aiden Norman. The difference between them over the last 5 laps, Norman has been slower, but not by enough. That time, Norman almost 0.7 quicker. Aiden in full control of his destiny, but the dreaded caution still looming in the background. Seth Wansing, an incredible race for him so far, an incredible season for him, despite the fact that he comes into this race 19th in the point standings. He's got an average start of 1st coming into this race and an average finish of 8th. So Seth is going to jump up into the points after this 3rd round. We'll see just what he's made of as the season continues. Here's Painter, 0.9 behind Tom Sears. He wants that podium. The North Carolinian on board with him now. Four tenths now for that final podium position. Tom Sears has 4.5 laps to hold off North Carolinian Dustin Painter. The 00 Ryan Truex Camry now appearing in the shadows from that turn 2 wall. And like a ghost in the night, will sneak to the inside of that 14, but can he get away with the move? Sears will concede like a gentleman, and that's going to put Dustin Painter into the 3rd position with 4 laps to go. There's Ryan Pennell, 17 seconds off of 4th, 11 seconds off of 5th. Jeremy Brio finds himself 7 3/4 seconds separated from this man here, Briley Wright. Tommy Withers isn't done, though. He's 1 second behind Thomas Andrews in the 9th position. The Season 4 champion, running a little bit quicker than Ryan Pennell at the moment. Tom Sears, 0.8 behind Dustin Painter, the North Carolinian. will continue to run away with this podium. While it's this man here, Aiden Norman, who's coming to 2 laps to go, with a big slide out of turn number 4. The 6-2 Dodge holding on to the lead, taking it in brilliant pit strategy. And his race to lose now, 1.5 laps for Aiden Norman. Started in first, he's got the fastest lap. He will lead the most laps. And if he can hold on to it for another 1.5 miles, he will finally get his win. Juan Jimenez winning race 1 and 2 this season. He's not present for race number 3, so we will have a first-time winner, and the defending champion aims to be the first time getting his first win, being a first-time winner in season 6. Absolute brilliant strategy to undercut this man, Tom Sears, who will finish in 4th if he can hold on to this race. Dustin Painter sitting in 3rd, Seth Wansing sitting in 2nd, who gave Aiden Norman a great run all race long. But when the dust settles in the shadow of the St. Louis Gateway Arch, it's the 6-2 of Aiden Norman who will win at Gateway. Fireworks in the air for Aiden Norman, celebrating his victory. The 6-2 has done it, and the defending champion back where we're used to seeing him, on the top of the podium. Don't go anywhere, fans. We're going to have your top 3 in just a moment. Aiden Norman, your winner at Gateway. On the podium now with our top 3, starting with the pride of North Carolina, Dustin Painter coming through with another bronze medal. These are starting to become more and more a thing for you, Painter.
I guess. I don't know. Last week was a mistake by myself, so it really didn't happen. So, again, another mistake. Lap 1, I had to brake hard to avoid Aiden. Lost all that track position, so it was just a fight all evening to try to get track position back.
Next week, we go to the Iowa Speedway, where you're going to head into 5th in the points. 4 markers behind Jeff No. How do you feel about Iowa?
Not one of my favorite tracks, but we'll see how I do.
We'll see you in a week. Congratulations on third.
Thanks.
Our second place interview brought to you by Drip Diecast and Collectibles. Check them out on Facebook, your number one place to buy and sell your favorite race memorabilia. Drip Diecasts and Collectibles. Check them out on Facebook. Seth Wansing, our silver medalist tonight. Seth, such a great battle all night long with Aiden. What more did you have left in the tank? What else did you need to fight for the W tonight?
And everything but talent. I just screwed up the last pit stop on entry. Don't know if you caught it. Just clipped the grass, and that was all it took. Aiden was fantastic for the first 10 or 15 laps, but I, I definitely think I could have at least got to his bumper had I not screwed up pit road. So, yeah, had everything I needed but talent getting on pit road. So, disappointing finish, but that's the two races I've ran in TNT so far, let a lot of laps, done pretty good. So hopefully not miss any more races like I did last week and get back on the full-time schedule and try to go for a championship.
Next week at Iowa, you're going to head into Iowa just 4 points. Is that right? Am I reading that right? Yeah, 4 points outside of the top 10. How do you feel about the short track in the cornfield?
Feel great. I love anything under a mile and a half. I love short tracks. So gonna be hard to catch that 62 car and that 22 if he shows up next week. So disappointing finish, second blows, but driver error. So what can you do? But congrats to Aiden, and he drove fantastic race, and congrats to Dustin as well.
We'll see you in a week. Congratulations to you on your second place finish.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for broadcasting.
Our race winning interview brought to you by Jim Blankenship and the folks over at Swag Designs, providing the trophies for Thursday Night Thunder Season 6. Check him out as well on Facebook. That's Jim Blankenship at Swag Designs. How you doing, Jim? Hope you're watching. Our race winner, defending champion, Aiden Norman in the 6-2, back on the top step on the podium one more time. Champ, you're going to head into Iowa with a 2-point lead over Tom Sears. Did you know that the strategy was always going to be to undercut him with 30 laps to go?
Coming into it, no, but as we raced, I realized he was gonna be better on that long run. It's just every single time he'd start catching me 1 to 2 tenths a lap, and it was just a wild little race there. But I just kind of watched where he was going on track and figured I would try the undercut on one of those first stops, and I gained about a second half, 2 seconds, and I just kept doing that on the other 2 stops, and on that last stop, I pretty much pushed it as hard as I could into pit lane, and I gained a bunch of time there, so that's what won me the race.
Another winner is Doug Norris, as well as Doug Norris wins the Daniel Suarez Diecast. Doug, congratulations on winning. Doug is now ineligible for next week's giveaway. Aiden, next week we go to the short track in Newton, Iowa, where you're going to go for 2 straight wins and furthering your point lead. Congratulations on the win tonight, and we'll see you in 7 days.
All right, thank you, Rick.
Fans at home, the TNT circus rolls on. We're going to take these ARCA cars to the cornfields, and we're going to see what they can do at the 3/4 mile Little Bull Ring over there in Newton, Iowa. We hope to see you there as well. Follow us on Twitter, and we will see. Follow us on Twitter, and we'll see you there next week. We're at, what are we on Twitter? At Rick James TV and at TN Thunder Series. Follow us on Twitter. Also, don't forget about the folks over there at iRock TV Media. Shout out to Brian Rick. Shout out to Stan Carnathan. And, of course, everybody that makes these broadcasts possible. And until that next race, everybody, please stay safe. Do take care of each other. And we will see you all